女士们、先生们，谢谢你们的光临。Ladies and gentlemen, especially our senators Ray Gordon and his office staffs, and Taiwanese Association Chairman and aggressive Democratic Party, and Republican Party and the Democrats Party, and also Socialist Party, and our Federation for Democratic China, Chinese Alliance for Democracy, China Democratic Party, all behind this 30th anniversary of a Tiananmen Massacre Memorial. Protest against the Chinese Communist regime, crash down on Chinese people, and killing and made the massacre happen 30 years ago. 我们今天在这里有中国民主党、民主中国阵线、中国民主团结联盟、台湾进步党、台湾联合会、同乡会、美国共和党、民主党和我们社会主义党的代表都来这里来参加我们的活动。We would like to thank all the above organizations and the government officials to come and support Chinese democracy and human rights. We shall never forget 30 years ago, the Tiananmen massacre happened. More than 10,000 people disappeared overnight. 我们永远不会忘记30年前的今天，1万人以上丧失了他们的生命，他们就无影无踪了。现在，首先让我们起立，为在6·4民主运动中牺牲的英雄们，和在过去多年中与共匪抗战中牺牲的无辜的成千上万的居民们，我们起立为他们默哀1分钟。Now, please stand. We'll salute and be silent for 1 minute for the heroes of Tiananmen democracy movement people, students, citizens, and all the people there who were killed by the Communist Party regime military. And in the past 70 years, ever since the Communist Party regime took over China, those who lost their lives, we will do 1 minute silence. Please sit down. Now we have an anti-fascism marching band. Thank you.
乐队的精彩演出。下面我们有请中国民主人权联盟主席金秀红女士发表演讲。
We're going to have a few words from our organizer, Jane Chu Hong, who was at Tiananmen Square on June 4th, 1989.
30年前 30 years ago today, I was in Tiananmen Square. Millions of people were on the street. We protested against the Chinese Communist Party corruption and do not let people to vote. 30年前的今天，我们成千上万的人在天安门广场抗议中共政府的贪污腐化，不让人民投票。People were everywhere, on the street, on the wall, on the tree, and even from their windows, from tall high-rise. People all want democracy. People all want to say we can have a freedom to say what we want to say. Because Chinese people never had that time, ever since the Communist Party took over. 中国人民自从70年前中国共产党占据了中国大地以后，中国人民就没有一天能够自如地表达他们的心情，说出他们想说的心里话。There were 56 days people were on the Tiananmen Square. Those people who were working, after their work, they go there to support the students. They said, we go support you after our work every day. And students lived on Tiananmen Square. They demanded democracy for the entire country and all the Chinese people. But during that 56 days, we have many sad stories happen. I saw in my eyes, outside the big red wall, there was a military truck was torn apart and burned down. And the neighbors surrounding that military truck and told me the story. They said they saw the military people drove in that truck and then jumped down and started tearing apart that trucks apart and then start burning that truck. That is how the Chinese Communist Party regime planning how to kill people. They planned the massacre by making excuses and making up the fake stories. 我在中南海的大红墙外看到了一辆军车，这辆军车，街坊们告诉我，他们亲眼看到从那个军车上停下车以后跳下来的军人， 把这个军车撕得乱七八糟，然后就点火了。他们把罪责推向了学生和市民，这就是共匪要屠杀的开始。而他们从来没有停止过对人民的镇压、屠杀和欺骗。The Chinese Communist regime is living on their lies every day. They don't dare to let people to know the truth. Anybody who wants to tell the truth, you will be arrested, beaten up, be silenced, and disappeared. 谁想说真话，你就会被打、被抓、被判，也许被失踪。Today, we have a hero who used to be in students' movement. I was in Tiananmen Square in Beijing, and he, Mr. Zhang Lin, was 16 years in jail, more than 10 times arrested by the Communist Party regime because he wanted to tell the truth. Chinese people in the mainland have no freedom of speech, no freedom of publication, no freedom of assembly, no freedom of religious beliefs. Whoever you are, you want to have a freedom.
He was talking and Wu Kai-shi spoke up. He interrupted him and he spoke with his hand like this in a rhythm, saying, you not only came late today, but you've come too late altogether. And that was him really standing up, speaking truth to power. Of course, in the end, the state did crack down on them, but in that moment, the students had the upper hand. And there's video of this that circulated widely. Of course, in China, they're not able to watch it, but in northwest China, in the Uyghur region, they had heard this story. Wu Kai-shi, his name in Uyghur is Urkesh. He is Uyghur. He is one of the only minority leaders in that group of student leaders. Many Uyghurs, young Uyghurs that I met during my research in northwest China talked about Urkesh and his passion, his ability to speak back to power, his concern with civil disobedience, and they also wanted to follow in that path. Today, that path is almost completely blocked. Most Uyghurs have no access to speaking any sort of truth to power. Over the last 2 years, I've lost around 30 of my friends to the re-education camps. These are young, college-educated people, scholars, intellectuals, poets, artists, any profession you can think of, they've been taken. The Chinese state is really targeting a certain group of Uyghurs. They've taken around 1.5 million of people they deem untrustworthy and sent them to these re-education camps. But they're mostly young men and young women between the ages of 20 and 30. They're targeting a particular generation of Uyghurs in order to replace and systematically transform Uyghur society. They've also separated the children from their parents, sending them to re-education boarding schools, which they call Cherish Heart Centers, Kindness Centers. They talk about this as a process of giving something to the Uyghurs by helping them to replace their society with a new one. Why is this happening? The Uyghur region is home to lots and lots of natural resources, 20 to 30% of Chinese oil and natural gas. 80% of Chinese cotton comes from this region, and so there's lots of economic incentives to go into this region. The Chinese state is using the rhetoric of the war on terror, which started here in the United States, and now attaching it to this entire population of people, the Uyghurs, and saying that they are proto-terrorists, and that by taking them to these camps, they're going to head off any form of terrorist insurgency. There have been violent incidents in the past that have involved Uyghurs, but in general, they're very small, and it's a very small part of the population of people that have been actually involved in those attacks. And so the state is really just taking American rhetoric and amping it up, using it to target a whole population. So That's what I want to tell you. This is what's happening to Uyghurs. It's happening right now. They're in camps where they're asked to praise Xi Jinping, praise the Communist Party before they're given a meal. There's all kinds of psychological torture that's associated with the process that they're going through. If they don't participate in the programs, they can be punished by being placed in stress positions, being placed in isolation, being forced to eat pork, which goes against their religion since they are Muslim. All these forms of torture and terror that is being visited on these people. And it's not just the people in the camps. Everyone outside of the camps are afraid of being sent to the camps. Everyone knows about the camps. Everyone has a relative or family member, a friend that's being sent to the camps. So what can you do about this? Well, there's a bill in Congress that just passed through the committee. It's now being sent to the Senate for consideration. It's called the Uyghur Human Rights Bill of 2019. You can urge our senators here in Washington State to support this. Marie Cantwell and Patty Murray have not yet, so urge them to support that. If you're interested in the presidential election, you can petition the person that you're rooting for to talk about this as part of their foreign policy platform. Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg have already started to talk about the Uyghur issue as an important part of their consideration when it comes to Chinese foreign policy. So do that as well. You can also, if you're a Washington State employee, you can petition the people that are in charge of your retirement fund to divest from technology that is being used to surveil the Uyghurs. Right now they are. It's an investment fund called Silver Lake. Ask your people, the people in your administration of your if you're in a union, teachers union, what have you, to divest from this fund. Tell all your friends about what's happening to the Uyghurs. It's important that this become mainstream. Most people don't know who the Uyghurs are. They're a Turkic, stateless group. They're Muslim and they feel really far away. They don't have a lot of international coverage. So keep talking about them and bring it up with all of your friends. Thank you so much.
下面我们有请台湾同乡会主席林义宏先生上台演讲。
Now we have someone from the Taiwan Association to play.
Thanks for the invitation. First, I'd like to say something about democratic movement. As a democratic country that had been undergone massacre and had been through martial law, all Taiwanese people know that this process is not easy to fight for democracy and freedom. Therefore, I believe we all definitely support and define the value of democracy. Many years ago, some Chinese or Taiwanese people who promoted democratic movement couldn't go back to their hometown. Even now, China isn't a democratic country, and the Chinese people would be arrested overseas if they support democracy. It's a pity to say that Chinese government even also arrests foreign people. For example, Li Mingze, as a Taiwanese human rights advocate, has been being arrested by Chinese government for more than 2 years. Today is the 30th anniversary of Tiananmen Square massacre. Sadly, China is still a totalitarian country and still far away from being a democratic country. Again, I'd like to call for Chinese government to release Li Mingze as soon as possible. Without justification, it's not tolerated to arbitrarily arrest foreign people and arrest those who fight for human rights and democracy. However, fighting for democracy is just the first step. Even itself is already not an easy one. But the more difficult is to defend it forever, to ensure democracy not that weak. Just like Chinese democratic movement people, Taiwan had been through a lot to fight for democracy, and we succeeded. Although as now being a democratic country, we are still largely threatened by Chinese government. By all means to take over or destroy our democratic system. I would deeply believe democracy should be the universal value for all modern countries and all human being natures. Beyond fighting for Chinese democracy, please also stand on Taiwan's side to support Taiwan to be continued an independent, democratic country forever. Thank you.
下面我们有请华盛顿州共和党主流组织主席 Mike Veska 上台演讲，谢谢。
Mike Veska is a Republican Party mainstream chairman.
Thank you for the honor of speaking here. My name is Mike Vaska, and I'm the chairman of Mainstream Republicans of Washington, a Republican group here in our state. Two of our founders are Senator Slade Gordon, who you heard from earlier, and Governor Dan Evans. You heard Senator Gordon speak about his role in welcoming the Chinese students after Tiananmen. Some of you may know that Governor Dan Evans welcomed the refugees from Southeast Asia fleeing communist tyranny in the 1970s. And their movement that they created helped make Washington a welcoming place for refugees, a place that welcomes refugees. I experienced that myself. I was not a refugee, but my father was. My father was born on a collective farm in the Soviet Union, and as I say, came to this country courtesy of Nazi Germany. He was a slave laborer, came here as a teenager, and growing up, we talked about the tyranny that the people of Eastern Europe faced at the time, behind the Iron Curtain. And we never thought that the Iron Curtain would fall because of the iron grip that the communists had. But in 1987, in June of 1987, just 2 years before the Tiananmen Square movement, Ronald Reagan, a Republican president, stood at the Brandenburg Gate and asked Mikhail Gorbachev, he said, tear down this wall, tear down this wall. He believed that communism would fall and that freedom would win out. And his belief powered that movement, which led to the fall of the Iron Curtain and freedom for all those people that were formerly under communist oppression. So the point of this is, don't lose hope. These kinds of gatherings are key if we're ever going to free mainland China from communist rule. So I hear that in the passion of the speakers, and I'm really, really honored to be here speaking to you today. So thank you very much.
谢谢 Mike。下面由我们来诵读一下由中国之春创始人、中国民联创始人王炳章家人写来的一封信。
Now I'd like to read a letter from the family of Dr. Wang Bingzhang, founder of the Chinese Spring. Today is the 30th anniversary of the June 4th massacre. My mood is very heavy. 30 years ago, a large number of outstanding young students of the Chinese nation have lost their precious lives for Chinese democracy, human rights, and freedom. The heroic deeds will be remembered forever by future generations. Cry for the fallen spirits of June 4th. Cry for the mothers of those heroes of June 4th. Also cry for my own dear mother. My mother shed tears every day. She did not see her dear son Wang Bingzhan till death. My dear brother Wang Bingzhan has been detained in Chinese prison for 17 years. Although 2 major crimes imposed on him in the past have all been overthrown, China still holds Wang Bingzhan alone and still insists on life imprisonment. My younger brother Wang Bingzhan has been in prison for many times at the age of 71. He hopes that China will carry out a humanitarian spirit and release my dear brother Wang Bingzhan and let him return to us. Two major changes imposed on Wang Bingzhan. Sorry, technical difficulties. Two major charges imposed on Dr. Wang Bingzhan: bombing the Chinese embassy in Thailand. The Thai government has issued evidence that Wang Bingzhan had never bombed the Chinese embassy in Thailand. Taiwan espionage. The Taiwan authorities have already issued a certificate stating that the Taiwan authorities have never sent Wang Bingzhan to act as a Taiwan spy. Wang Bingzhan is held in solitary confinement for 17 years. We can still go see him a few years ago, but then China will not give us a visa and prevented us from entering China. These include Zhu Wan, Yuan Wang, Bingwu Wang, and Tiana Wang. Wang Bingzhan has been studying the Bible for 17 years and interpreting the Bible code. He told us that God is accompanying him every day. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we are here to commemorate the June 4th. Please don't forget the leader of the democracy movement, Wang Bingzhan. Please pay attention to the rescue of Wang Bingzhan. I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to the friends who have cared for Wang Bingzhan for many years and the friends who have contributed money and effort to rescue Wang Bingzhan. Do not forget June 4th, and God bless China.
Let me read the letter in Mandarin. 今天是6·4屠杀的30周年纪念日，我的心情非常沉重。30年前的今天，大批优秀的青年学生和中华民族的精英，为了中国民主、人权和自由，献出了他们的宝贵生命。他们的英雄事迹可歌可泣，并永远载入人类文明史，流芳千古。哭6·4，吊亡灵，哭那些英雄的天安门母亲们，也哭我亲爱的母亲。我的母亲天天以泪洗面，至死也没有见到他的儿子。我亲爱的弟弟王炳章在中国监狱被关押了17年，现在虽然已把当年强加在他头上的2项罪名全部推翻，但中国仍然还单独关押王炳章，仍然坚持无期徒刑。我的弟弟王炳章已经71岁了，在狱中多次中风，希望中国实行人道主义精神，释放我亲爱的弟弟王炳章，让他回到我们的身边。那么加在王炳章身上的2大罪名是什么呢？1、轰炸中国驻泰国大使馆， 国政府以出具证明说，王炳章从来没有轰炸中国驻泰国的大使馆。2、台湾间谍罪，台湾当局早已出具证明说，台湾当局从未派王炳章做台湾间谍。王炳章被关押，单独关押了17年前，几年前我们都还可以去看他，但后来中国就不给我们签证了，不让我们进入中国，其中包括我们的亲人王金环、王玉华、王炳武、王天安。王炳章17年以来一直在研读圣经，解读圣经密码。他告诉我们，上帝每天在陪伴着他。亲爱的先生们、女士们，我们在这里纪念6·4，请大家不要忘记民运领袖王炳章，请大家关心营救王炳章。借此机会，我要向多年以来关心支持王炳章的朋友和为营救王炳章出钱出力的朋友说声谢谢你们。勿忘6·4，主佑中华。谢谢。
下面我来介绍一位自1980年开始从事民主运动，先后入狱10次。他是6·4的幸存者，自由斗士，专栏作家。我们有请张林先生上台演讲。
Our guest of honor for the evening, Mr. Zhang Lin.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. 今天我们在这里纪念6·4那1万名丧失生命的青年。
Today we are in commemoration of more than 10,000 people who died during the Tiananmen massacre.
我还想提醒大家，在共产党统治中国的70年里，他们用各种各样的方式虐待、杀害了1亿中国人。
Under the Chinese Communist Party regime, since ever they took over the regime 70 years, and they killed in all different kind of names over 1 million people.
尤其是在最近40年，当他们竭尽全力蒙蔽国际社会的时候，他们还杀害了4亿胎儿。这些胎儿大部分都已经有5个月，他们已经拥有生命权。
Especially recent years, Chinese Communist Party regime and killed those unborn babies, at least 4 million.
所以中共是人类有史以来最残酷的集团。
The Chinese Communist Party is the most inhumane regime.
他们杀害的生命可能超过了全人类所有的犯罪集团屠杀的总和。
The Chinese Communist Party regime killed those people amount is more than any other nation's total.
而且中共在最近几十年里面，依靠盗窃西方的知识产权和残酷农役中国人，把10几亿中国人当成奴隶一样来农役，榨取了一些大量的钱财。他们利用这些钱财，正在进一步的危害整个世界。
Recent years, the Chinese Communist Party regime stealing high tech from Western world and use that to ruling Chinese people and suck the blood out of ordinary people.
所以这个世界，不仅仅要纪念天安门事件里面的受难者，还要想到中共所有的罪恶，还要提防中共，而且呢，还要遏制中共对这个世界上的威胁。
We are not only in commemoration of those who died in Tiananmen Square. We must be aware the Chinese Communist regime is a big threat to the world who would like to have a freedom and a democracy.
我在推特里面的大部分网友都支持美国政府对中共进行经济制裁，而且我们认为应该有更多的制裁。
Most of my friends through the Twitter all support United States economic sanction, and we think we need a sanction on the Chinese dictatorship regime more.
在中共有能力威胁整个人类的自由，和生命之前，应该阻止它。
Before the Chinese Communist Party could ruling the world, we must stop them now.
好，谢谢大家 ，Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And now we welcome. We would like to thank you all the organizations who supporting this event, and all the people are here. You have a beautiful art. We want to thank you very much. Now we will go to China Harbor restaurant and hope we can enjoy freedom of speech and also the dinner. Everybody is welcomed. Okay, if you don't know the address, let me know. And now we invite the aging granny, raging granny, have 2 more songs, and then after that will be anti-fascism raging man. Okay, 2 more songs, please. I'm sorry.